So last week, as you have probably seen on every single form of social media, I traveled down to a different country to watch my heroes John and Hank Green on their tour across America, promoting John's new book, Turtles All the Way Down. People always say that you shouldn't meet your heroes, and my life experience meeting John and Hank probably proves that to be true, but I certainly can recommend getting a bus to an obscure town in Washington state to sit on the balcony and stare at them from a distance. It was awesome. My journey to Bellingham was idyllic, like traveling through California's vineyards and then through a New England fall. Washington state was a sprawling quilt of mismatched oak trees and weatherboard houses, which I really liked. I sat and had coffee and a bagel outside the red brick townhouses in Bellingham Center, and it really did feel like Maine on the West Coast, except they didn't force feed me lobster. And they also had really excellent kickable leaves. After exploring Western Washington University for a bit, I turned a corner to find the tour bus waiting for me, and behind it a sunset over the Puget Sound. I constantly try to remind myself that John and Hank are just humans, but it was such a weird thrill knowing that their butts had sat on the seats in the bus that I was staring at, and that when they liked my tweets that they had read words I had constructed. The things humans care about are really strange. Now at this point I was just going to show a bunch of footage from the tour, but of course something had to go wrong, and this time it was my Zoom breaking and consistently and shakily zooming in on the wrong thing so that everything looks like this. The only bit that I could salvage is of special guest Dr. Turtleman giving a fascinating lecture on phylogeny and taxonomy that is just too precious to give you in full.
Please order Tula Dentata, the artwork.
So instead, I'll tell you all about the concert. Buckle up, kids. So John comes on stage, suit and sneakers, and reads from Turtles. And then he talked about empathy, a reminder of how art is important because reading and listening are the two closest ways to experience life through another's consciousness. And just knowing how other people think and love is how we can think and love better, which I totally agree with. And then to offset that, we learned about elephant shrews, which are more closely related to elephants than shrews, and in the recording of their podcast about how to meet people knowing that you may have nearly made out with them at a Halloween party. And then we sang All Star by Smash Mouth in a way that was bizarrely earnest and empowering, like I left literally thinking that I was an all-star. And of course, there were just so many beautiful and profound and weird bits, like staying silent whilst Hank sang Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. And hearing a man who I've watched every other day for 7 years speak so candidly about his chronic mental illness, which he's had to stay silent about for so long, and then hearing him talk about how hot Ryan Reynolds is. But the most poignant moment was when all 1,100 people in that audience sang a song that soldiers used to sing. We're here. We may never really know why we're here on this earth, but we get to be, and we get to be together. I hope that we can remember it, be present in it, and never forget to be awesome. Before I go, I have one more point. In Turtles, John talks about thought spirals, and they sound awful and terrifying, but he reminded me of the existence of thought cycles. By sharing his thoughts, he's let other people share theirs, to understand, to make art from them, to pass them on to others. If you've learned anything from this video or from John and Hank, tell more people so we can build bridges, not travel inwards. John, Hank, I really love you, and I'll see you at PodCon. Everyone else, I love you too. Until next time, goodbye. And nobody says goodbye unless they want to see you again. We're here because we're here because we're here because we're here. We're here because we're here because we're here because we're here.
Weird bird, because I looked at it.